All right. Good evening, YouTube. This is Maurice Parker, part of Maurice Parker channel. I was giving you guys my thoughts of the NFL Divisional Round as well as the College Football Championship Game. First off, I wanted to say that congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes for beating the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 31-21 in the national championship game. It was really much so a crowning moment for Ryan Day, who, if you didn't know anything about, after the loss to Michigan, a lot of people was calling for his job because he had lost to Michigan for 4 straight years. That is their divisional rivals, and people felt as though he underachieved because we're up to this point he did not win. Now that he has won a national championship, I think all that has come in has to stop. We have to respect the fact he's a champion now. I think these are the same critics who have to give him his flowers. Hey, it's not that, it's about time. It's hard to win a championship at any level, whether it's the high school, collegiate, or professional level. To coach a roster, because I'm going to read this, a coach can only do so much. He can have the perfect game plan, but the players ultimately execute the play to perfection. Will Howard did a good job because Jigma Smith, Jigma Obike, sorry, not Jigma Smith plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Obike, the other Smith freshman had to catch, I think, to seal the deal when Howard deep ball had to catch to seal the deal. I think Notre Dame fought their hardest with Leonard and all them, but was overpowered. This is the second straight year that a Big Ten school has won the college football playoff championship game. And rightfully, there are people who are going to question it is a top conference compared to the SEC. I think it's very tough, because of 12-team format. But we got to try again to see how is it going to fare next year. If the Big Ten was to win again next year, in my opinion, I think there's going to be a little bit more legitimacy to that'll be 3 times a Big Ten school has won a national championship. We have to pay respect on that. Congratulations to Ryan Day. You got the monkey off your back. You're a champion. To all those wonderful players, congratulations for winning the game. I do think that this is going to propel some of their careers forward. To Notre Dame Fighting Irish, you played it well of a season. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way you wanted it to go in the national championship game. I was on myself watching the TV saying, "Oh my goodness, they're about to come back," because they had to do a beautiful deep ball, had to got the game within one possession, 8 points, and then at that point it was third, and they had stopped Ohio State 2 times. And basically on third down, they did a cover zero, which means they had all the people blitzing. Howard has enough time. He throws it. The corner gets beat. Now, to his credit, the corner got beat, but he's trying to run back to the ball. It's too late. The receiver maintains possession of the ball and stays in bounds. That's the key here. He stayed in bounds. And if you know anything about college football, the clock doesn't start running until everybody's on the line. But the fact that he stayed in bounds anyway means the clock still is going to start when he snaps it. So congratulations to Ohio State Buckeyes, the first time since 2014 that they won a national championship of Urban Meyer. Before that, Jim Tussle was there, went to my school, Youngstown State University, had won 4 state championships at Youngstown. But the point is, Ohio State has always had great collective coaches. I want to get into the NFL as we are done with the divisional round and we are going to the conference championships game. First up, the defending two-time defending Super Bowl champs Kansas City at home against the Houston Texans. Now, this game was intense, as much as you imagine. A lot of the controversy in this game you're going to hear is though Mahomes played great and Travis Kelce played one heck of a game for a tight end. For his age to still get as open as he's gotten open, his mastery of being at the right place at the right time, reading zone coverage, realizing I gotta be in this. Okay, they're playing flat, and I gotta be in the middle for the ball. I'm gonna make them relent if they're not gonna put our cushion. I'm gonna bust the coverage. I'm going to show that I still got what I have in the take. That I still have a lot of me. Just because you didn't hear a lot about me this year does not mean I'm still not a top tight end in the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes showed why he's the number one quarterback right now and the best quarterback of his generation. But the controversy in this game, unfortunately for Kansas City, is going to be the fact that the referees called 2 questionable roughing the passer penalties. One was with Will Anderson when he had ran into Mahomes, and I didn't think that he really touched him. That it could be debatable. The second one is that I think the league is going to have to change this ruling is It's not the fact that Mahomes slid; it's the fact that he tried to be a runner and stuff like that. In the last minute, wants to slide onto the ground, and the both players in the collide each other. They barely like nipped him. Even though it's a roughing the penalty player, I think that has to be looked into. I know the Texans have actually had an NFL investigation on the referee play because they feel as though, as most people at this point will tell you, when all these 50-50 calls go into the NFL, they usually favor the Chiefs side, and that takes away from what I could say is it unfortunately starts to taint the greatness of what quarterback and what a team can do. I get there's been numerous teams that try to three-peat, and it's never been done. But I think people are just starting to get more realized that they're seeing that the refs are trying to be favorable. It's not just that they call calls, it's that the times that they call these calls. In the situations where you feel the momentum shifting, they just happen to call the calls, and then the team just feels dejected. With that being said, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. You have gone to your 7th straight AFC Championship game. The next game I'm going to talk about is their opponents, the Buffalo Bills, who they have beaten 3 times, and this is the 4th time meeting between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I think it might end up a little differently. I know the pundits have the Chiefs winning, but I think Josh Allen's going to break through. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's not going to be because Mahomes didn't play well. It's really because I think they're going to deal with a quarterback that wants a little bit more this time. So we're going to get down to the Ravens-Bills game. First of all, both quarterbacks played amazing. The first half, unfortunately, was the fact that, unfortunately for Lamar, and as a Steelers fan, I do feel bad that he gets scrutinized for some of his mistakes. And I know he was very vocal about himself that he can't have mistakes. He's tired of it. Obviously, he's a competitor and he wants to get the job done. And it's hard to win the National Football League in the playoffs. You make turnovers. The one interception, I just think he threw out of desperation, or he was feeling he's going to get sacked. Now, the fumble was very questionable because what happened was it changed the momentum of the game. They was near the red zone. He fumbles the ball. And now Buffalo has life, and they take it back. And if it wasn't for Hill tackling Von Miller, Von Miller's probably, this is going to be a scoop and score of 6. In Buffalo, there was a questionable call that I'm going to talk about, but it was between to the receiver Hollins and the cornerback White was tangled up near the sideline, holding on to each other, pushing each other. All of a sudden, the referee calls pass interference. Now, you expect it to be in the office because they're tussling with each other, or I would rather see a no call. They call defensive pass interference. Can't happen. Buffalo scored when they needed to score. Lamar Jackson did drive the Ravens down there 82 yards down the field. There was a turnover prior to that I have to talk about. Mark Andrews, who's a great tight end. Unfortunately, when he did a curl route, I believe a hook. The middle field tried to. His thinking was when he was trying to cut, I think he was trying to create more space by cutting him, but the defender had came back and punched the ball out. He had fumbled the ball. The Ravens defense holds him to 3. Hamilton and them did a great job. So they score a touchdown. The 2-point conversion, I think, is going to hurt them is. So Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball. I didn't notice this the first time I saw it, but he double catches the ball, pump fake. I think he doesn't want to get swatted. Understandable, because then we would say, oh, he didn't even get it to him. He hits Mark Andrews. Unfortunately, the direction of Mark Andrews' momentum, he drops the ball. And I was hard about Mark Andrews. I'm like, you got to catch that ball. I still think you still had to catch the ball, football. Because what happened was he just dropped away season. And do I feel bad for Mark Andrews? Of course. I don't think that Mark Andrews wanted to go in that game and drop. And you could tell in his face it was devastating. You could tell it on a man's face when something's devastating. That being said, from there they try to do an onside kick because that's the only thing they could do. Buffalo gets the ball and they get the win. Lamar, being the class German that he is, told him good luck. Hope you go to the Super Bowl. Which leads to another showdown between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. For those of you comparing this to Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, I just want you to know that in the beginning, Tom Brady had a 2-0 record against Manning, but Did you know the last three times that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady played, Peyton Manning was on the winning side? I don't think a lot of people knew that in the playoffs, but it's true. I say that to say I think that this conference game might end up a little bit differently. I think it's going to end up differently on the grounds that Buffalo is familiar. They're familiar opponents for each other, so they're not intimidated by the Chiefs. They just it's just at this point you play opponent four times. So I think he has a skill to get past them. Josh Allen has to play his best. If the Buffalo defense can hold the Chiefs to 3 points or less, and they can score the first two possessions and keep that momentum going. If Josh Allen continues to play great like he has been, I think who's going to want to win the game? Who wants it more? For the Chiefs, they're looking to become the first team to ever three-peat. Actually, they'll be the first team to ever go to three straight Super. Well, no, they wouldn't be the first team to go three straight Super Bowls because the Buffalo Bills in the '90s would have won to four straight Super Bowls. But the first three-peat attempt to successfully have gone to three straight Super Bowls. Let me say that. But history can is not nothing is decided until whistles blown. People got 60 minutes to fight to go to New Orleans and for Super Bowl 58. Now, on the NFC side of things, the first game we're going to talk about is between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. Now, I was torn because I like both the Commanders and the Detroit Lions in this game. I thought both were underdogs and nobody paid respect on. But kudos to Jane Daniels and the Commanders are handling business. I mean, Jaden Daniels is not your typical rookie. I think he could become the first rookie since Dan Marino to go to a Super Bowl. Actually, he joins Marino Roethlisberger as one of the few rookies to ever have made it to a conference game in their first year. So, congrats to him. He played poised. He played great. He really showed the growth and maturity that he needed to show. It doesn't seem like he gets rattled in that moment, and that's huge for a rookie quarterback because pressure is high in any regular season game, preseason. It's just a different type of pressure in the playoffs. Because what happens in the regular season is normally if you have pressure, you have a week to correct it. This is it. It's a single game elimination. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. Terry McLaurin balled out. Zach Ertz balled out. You got to get the Washington defense credit for turnovers. And I know Jared Goff had an abysmal day, and I'm pretty sure he would say that was just you can't have that in the playoffs, and he knows that. But I'm pretty sure he'll learn from it. He has been to a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, did not win, but Dan Campbell showed the emotions that it was his fault and stuff. And I think Dan Campbell, you're being a little bit harsh on yourself. You did the best you could with the roster. All these players got hurt. All the people got hurt. And there's nothing else you could do about that. They got hurt, and you tried to do the best you could, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't your day. Washington Commanders are going on to the NFC Championship game. The last game is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this game was interesting because Matthew Stafford was is a Hall of Fame quarterback, had won Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts had been to a Super Bowl with Saquon Barkley. At first, it looked like the same old story. The Rams were going to get blown out. But let me tell you something. Don't slouch on this Rams defense. They are going to be something special. This young collective group of men actually are going to be special. I know Verse had a lot of stuff to say about the Philly fans. He gets generally hot when he sees the color green and white. Guess what? He taught this Mac, but he made some plays. I mean, Saquon Barkley went off. I think for Matthew Stafford, for them to even be close in that game with the Lake effect says a lot. I think the Rams are in a unique situation where I think they're going to be better. I think their defense is going to be better because they have pieces around to help it. I think the offense is going to be complementary because they can be able to perform. I just want to say, Saquon, you made the right decision by going to Philadelphia. You are a game changer. You are showing your Hall of Fame longevity career. I just want you to keep staying on the Hall of Fame track. For Jalen Hurts, keep doing your thing, man. This NFC Championship game is crazy between the Eagles and Washington. So for those who know, the Eagles, this is the third time in 2 years. Within the second time in 3 years that they'll be going to the NFC Championship game. Now, remember, the last time they went to the NFC Championship game, they advanced and played, ironically, the Chiefs. A close Super Bowl thriller. I think it was probably the best Super Bowl, all time, 38-35. Then you have the Washington Commanders, who the last time they went to Super Bowl 1991 or 1992, I believe, And they have really, for the better part of this century, have not really done as much in the playoffs as they could. I think part of it was the fact that they had a building stone in the late great Sean Taylor, and when he tragically passed away, I think that took a while to rebuild. And then their owner, and they had to switch the ownership because sometimes you have to do that because of all the allegations. Now they have this rookie quarterback has a chance to play in a big moment. This is a divisional game in the playoffs, in a championship conference championship game. Steelers Ravens played in the AFC Championship game. You can't predict some of these people playing against each other in the championship game. Think about it. It's your division rivals in a championship game to go to the Super Bowl. It's not like a regular season game. This is to go to the Super Bowl. What advantages the Eagles have? Most of the players recently have been there, and they want to get back and finish the job. They believe they should have finished the job 2 years ago. For Washington, they believe in their quarterback. They believe that this will change around the perception because right now Mahomes is number one quarterback. His trajectory is looking great. What does it do for Jaden Daniels? He wins. Well, we can start putting him on that track because to win a Super Bowl as a rookie quarterback, you start to go on that track. So I think it comes down to this: what we want to see this Sunday. 3:30, 3 o'clock, sorry, on Fox, Washington Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to know you got to leave it all on the field. 60 minutes of football. We got to see who's going to win that game to go to the Super Bowl. I would say congratulations both teams for getting there in the NFC. Best of luck to see who's going to go to the Super Bowl. At 6:30 on CBS, we have the Buffalo Bills against the two-time Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. I will say congratulations to both teams for making it this far into the conference game. Best of luck. And we hope to see you guys in two weeks. Who's ever going to make it. I do think it's going to be an interesting game. I do expect every moment to be fun and filled, and we're going to see a lot of things happen. Until then, thank you. And if you are new, subscribe to the channel, and we would greatly appreciate it if you are able to share a link for me below.